Your dollars are losing value while you sleep. In 2025, keeping money in the bank is almost like throwing it into a slow-burning fire. Inflation is eating into your purchasing power faster than ever. Central banks are scrambling, and AI is rewriting how entire industries operate. The old rules of money no longer apply. But here's the twist. While most people are stressed, confused, or stuck, the rich, they're moving like chess masters, already 5 steps ahead. They don't panic, they pivot. And it's not luck. It's the result of deeply ingrained, intentional habits most people never think about. So, what are these ultra-wealthy people doing differently in this chaos? What daily behaviors are secretly making them unstoppable, even as the world feels more unstable than ever? Is it obscure investment plays, some AI trickery, or is it something far more subtle and powerful? Why does it seem like they always come out of crises wealthier, more connected, and more in control? We're about to break down 7 specific habits they live by. Habits that most people overlook, but that can radically shift your financial future if you start applying them today. Some are strategic, others are psychological, but every single one is working right now. Now, this isn't about waking up at 5 a.m. or grinding 80 hours a week. That era is over. In 2025, success belongs to those who move smart, not just fast. Wealthy people are optimizing for leverage, not labor. They build systems, buy back time, and choose assets that quietly outpace inflation while everyone else clings to cash. If you're still using the old playbook, you're not just falling behind, you're becoming obsolete. But the good news? These habits are learnable. This isn't hype. It's the new foundation of wealth. Habit number 1. They track opportunity, not just expenses. Attention. The misconception trap. Most people are laser-focused on budgeting, cutting Netflix subscriptions, skipping lattes, tracking every dollar like a hawk. Meanwhile, the rich, they're tracking something else entirely: opportunity. While the average person is obsessing over $5 decisions, the wealthy are identifying $50,000 moves. It's not that they ignore expenses, they just don't waste energy on optimizing scraps when they can optimize scale. It's a shift from scarcity thinking to abundance execution. Interest reframing the money mindset. Here's the thing. Rich people understand that every decision has a cost, and the biggest cost is usually what you're not doing. It's called opportunity cost, and it's often invisible. Say you spend hours trying to find a cheaper insurance plan. That might save you $300 a year. But what if you use those hours to learn how to use a new AI tool that could generate $3,000 in new revenue? Or start building a personal brand that opens doors to income streams you can't even see yet. Wealthy people evaluate time the way most people evaluate money, with scrutiny and strategy. Desire, the tools they use. In 2025, the wealthy are using tech to do this at scale. Tools like AI-driven financial dashboards, automated deal alerts, sentiment tracking tools, and market movement indicators are helping them spot new opportunities before the crowd gets there. These dashboards aren't built to track expenses. They're designed to surface leverage. Undervalued digital assets, early-stage startup deals, or geoeconomic trends, all visible in real time. It's like having a financial radar system, always scanning the horizon for the next advantage. Action. Make it practical. So, how can you start thinking like this? Stop measuring your life in receipts and start measuring it in ROI. Set up a weekly opportunity audit where you look at how you spent your time and ask, did this generate potential or just preserve comfort? Start tracking ideas, patterns, and tools that could increase your income or reduce wasted motion. Use tools like Google Trends, ChatGPT, LinkedIn feeds, or even niche newsletters. Don't just cut costs. Create capacity. That's how the rich move differently. Habit number 2. They stack safer assets than cash. Attention. Cash is no longer king. For decades, the advice was simple. Save money, build an emergency fund, keep cash handy. But in 2025, that mindset is getting people quietly crushed. Inflation has eaten away at the real value of cash savings. Holding money in a regular savings account right now is like pouring water into a leaking bucket. You may not notice it draining immediately, but give it a year and the damage is done. The rich know this, and that's why they've moved far beyond the idea of saving money in the traditional sense. They still keep liquidity, but they don't let it sit idle. They put their cash to work in safer, smarter ways. Interest, the safe asset myth. Most people think cash is the safest place to park money, but the wealthy operate on a different rule. Safety isn't about risk of loss. It's about risk of erosion. What good is safety if it guarantees your money will be worth less in a year? In response, the rich are stacking assets that hedge against inflation and volatility. These aren't risky bets. They're calm, calculated plays that quietly protect purchasing power while still leaving the door open for appreciation. Cash might feel safe, but in 2025, it's like standing still on a moving treadmill. You're going backward without realizing it. Desire, the new safe haven assets. So were they buying instead of holding cash? In 2025, the smart money is going into short-duration treasury bonds that outpace inflation, inflation-protected securities like TIPS, high-yield money market accounts, and even tokenized real estate that generates passive income with global access. Precious metals, gold, silver, and now even tokenized versions are also back in style as global uncertainty rises. Some are turning to stable coins backed by regulated reserves, offering consistent yield while maintaining liquidity. These assets don't just sit there. They work, quietly earning while providing a hedge against systemic chaos. Expansion, why this works in 2025. This shift isn't theoretical, it's strategic. During periods of high uncertainty or rising interest rates, cash losing value isn't just a risk, it's a certainty. Meanwhile, these boring safe assets have become smarter and more accessible. With tokenization, apps, and platforms, it's easier than ever to buy fractional shares of income-generating properties or participate in short-term yield strategies backed by real-world collateral. The wealthy aren't just sitting on piles of money. They're placing it where it retains value and works for them every second. Every dollar they hold has a job. Action, your move. If you're sitting on cash in a savings account just in case, it's time to reconsider. Start exploring platforms that offer fractional real estate investments, government-backed bonds with decent yield, or even stable coins earning passive income on regulated exchanges. Don't go all in, but diversify your safety net. Your goal shouldn't just be to preserve. It should be to protect and grow. In this economy, safety doesn't come from stashing. It comes from strategic stacking. Habit number 3. They ruthlessly buy back time attention. The illusion of productivity. Most people wear busy like a badge of honor. Long to-do lists, back-to-back meetings, endless multitasking. It feels productive, but it's a trap. The wealthy know this. In 2025, they don't aim to do more. They aim to own more of their time. Because time is the only asset you can't buy more of, unless you're smart enough to engineer it. The rich aren't afraid to spend money if it buys back even an hour of focused, high-leverage time. It's not just a preference. It's a non-negotiable mindset shift that defines how they operate. Interest, time arbitrage is the game. The rich play a concept called time arbitrage. They identify tasks that drain their energy or distract from their zone of genius, then outsource, automate, or delegate them. In 2025, that means hiring virtual assistants, using AI tools to write, schedule, or analyze, and building automated systems to handle repetitive tasks. It's not about laziness. It's about protecting focus. Every minute wasted on a $10 task is a minute stolen from a $10,000 idea. The ultra-wealthy treat their calendar like a war room. Everything on it must either create value, build leverage, or unlock potential. Desire, leverage through technology. Technology has become a great multiplier. Tools like AI-driven content creators, automation platforms, low-code dashboards, and smart schedulers have replaced dozens of hours of manual work. The wealthy aren't just tech users, they're tech directors. They don't react to tasks, they design systems. Instead of replying to emails or micromanaging logistics, they spend time thinking strategically, building relationships, and making decisions that move their financial needle. Their calendars are curated for clarity and control, not chaos. Action. Start small, scale fast. You don't need a full-time assistant or fancy software to begin. Start with one question. What's one task you hate doing that adds little value? Outsource it, automate it, or eliminate it. Try tools like Zapier for automation, Notion for life design, or ChatGPT to streamline writing and brainstorming. Even batching errands or auto-scheduling recurring tasks frees up energy. As you reclaim your time, reinvest it in skill building, deep work, or income-generating projects. This is how the rich pull away from the pack, not by hustling harder, but by thinking like owners, not operators. Habit number 4. They build asymmetric bets attention. The misunderstood strategy. Most people avoid risk. They think getting rich means hitting it big once or never making a mistake. But the wealthy see it differently. They're not gamblers. They're architects of asymmetric bets. Moves where the downside is limited, but the upside could be massive. In 2025, this mindset is even more critical. With AI, no-code tools, and borderless investing, the cost of testing ideas is low, and the potential payoff is exponential. The rich aren't seeking guarantees. They're building optionality. They don't try to win every time. They create the conditions to win big when it counts. Interest. Why this works now more than ever. This works especially well in a fast, tech-disrupted world. Small bets on early-stage startups, niche online courses, AI-powered services, creator brands, or digital products can multiply returns, sometimes 10x, 50x, or more. While most people stick to a paycheck and fear failure, the wealthy are constantly placing small, strategic bets. They don't expect each one to succeed. In fact, they count on most to fail. But all it takes is one breakthrough, and it changes everything. That's not a fantasy. That's math. Desire, real-world example plus mindset. Take Naval Ravikant, who's made hundreds of angel investments. Most return nothing, but the few that hit, like Twitter or Uber, created life-changing wealth. Or look at creators today launching microproducts, online courses, or niche newsletters. Maybe 5 ideas flop, but one goes viral and generates $100,000. The rich understand this game. They see failure not as wasted effort, but as fertilizer. Every attempt teaches. Every iteration improves their next move. They're patient with losses, but aggressive with learning. Action. How you can start. You don't need millions to start making asymmetric bets. Start by allocating 5 to 10% of your time, energy, or income to high-upside experiments. That could mean launching a side hustle, building a micro-product, investing in an early-stage idea, or developing a skill that creates new income potential. The goal isn't perfection, it's exposure. Stay in the game long enough, and one smart move can reshape your future. The rich aren't lucky. They just place more bets that can't hurt them much, but can help them enormously. Habit number 5. They audit their circle relentlessly. Attention. Your network is your mirror. If your 5 closest friends are broke, negative, and stuck, guess where you're headed? The rich don't leave relationships to chance. They treat their inner circle like an investment portfolio. They don't just audit their money. They audit their energy. In 2025, when information, emotion, and momentum move faster than ever, the people around you can either be a battery or a drain. And the wealthy are ruthless about cutting dead weight. Interest. Why this matters more than ever. In a hyper-connected world, proximity equals destiny. Your income, outlook, and even habits tend to mirror the people you spend time with. The rich know this. That's why they build intentional circles. They seek out others who think big, move fast, and play long games. Not just for networking, but for osmosis. Being around driven, strategic people forces you to level up. It's not about being the smartest in the room. It's about being in rooms that make you smarter. Desire. What they do. Wealthy people don't just stumble into great networks. They curate them. They schedule regular check-ins with mentors, attend private masterminds, invest in relationships, and intentionally distance themselves from toxic or stagnant people. They're kind, but not sentimental. If someone's draining energy, blocking progress, or pulling them backward, they cut ties. Not out of ego, out of clarity. They understand their environment is either fertilizing their growth or choking it. Action. Audit your circle. Take inventory. Who around you inspires growth? Who quietly encourages excuses? Audit your circle like your life depends on it, because it does. Start connecting with ambitious people online. Join mastermind groups. Offer value first and upgrade your inputs. Don't just network. Nurture. Build a circle that reflects your future. not your past. Because if you want to go further, faster, your people need to match your direction, not just your history. Habit number 6, they think in systems, not goals. Attention, the goal trap. Most people are obsessed with goals. Make 6 figures, lose 20 pounds, read 50 books. Goals sound good. They feel productive. But here's the problem. Goals are outcomes. Systems are what get you there. The rich understand this deeply. In 2025, they've all but replaced goal setting with system building. Because systems create momentum. And momentum beats motivation every time. Interest. Why goals often fail. The problem with goals? They rely on willpower. You get a short burst of motivation, sprint for a few weeks, then burn out or hit a wall. You beat yourself up for missing milestones, even though the real issue was never the goal. It was the lack of structure. Wealthy individuals know results don't come from inspiration. They come from rituals, routines, and processes that run even when motivation fades. A system is a machine, and the machine doesn't care how you feel. It just works. Desire. What systems look like in real life. Here's what this looks like practically. Instead of saying, I want to earn more, the wealthy create systems to increase deal flow, automate outreach, and set recurring reviews of their portfolio. Instead of, I want to get fit, it's a meal prep schedule, a book trainer, and sleep optimization. They reduce decision fatigue and engineer consistency. Their days are rigged to produce results, even on bad days. That's the edge. They don't need to feel like it. The system runs anyway. Action. Build your first system. Start by taking one goal you've set and turning it into a repeatable system. Want to grow a side hustle? Set up a weekly content calendar, daily lead outreach, and automate part of your customer onboarding. Want to level up financially? Schedule weekly budget reviews, auto-invest in ETFs, and follow 2 newsletters that spark smart ideas. Track the process, not just the outcome, because when you build the right systems, results are inevitable. Goals are good for direction, but systems are what get you there, keep you there, and scale you beyond. Habit number 7, they rehearse disaster, then profit from it. Attention. The dangerous comfort zone. Most people avoid thinking about worst-case scenarios. It's uncomfortable, even scary. But the wealthy? They run toward it. In 2025, they don't just plan for success. They rehearse failure. Because when disaster strikes, economic crashes, AI disruption, market shifts, the rich aren't caught off guard. They've already played it out. They've already built plans B, C, and Z. And while others are frozen in fear, they're ready to move fast, smart, and with a plan. Interest. Why this gives them the edge. This isn't paranoia. It's preparation. Rich people think in scenarios. They ask, what if this investment tanks? What if my business gets disrupted? What if AI makes my skill irrelevant? Then they run simulations, mentally or on paper. They calculate downside risk, prepare buffers, and identify pivot points in advance. This doesn't just reduce fear. It creates clarity. Because when things go wrong, they're not scrambling. They're executing. In a volatile world, resilience isn't optional. It's a strategy. Desire, the upside of playing defense. Here's the twist. Rehearsing disaster often reveals hidden upside. For example, while others fear recession, the rich position themselves to buy stocks, real estate, and even companies at discounted rates. They have capital, confidence, and most importantly, a plan. When the world zigs, they zag. Not because they're fearless, but because they already saw it coming. They don't wait for perfect conditions. They profit from imperfect ones. Every crisis is a wealth transfer, and they're always on the right side of it. Action. Build your risk simulation. You can start this today. List your current income streams, assets, and dependencies. Now ask, what could disrupt each one? Then ask, what would I do if that happened tomorrow? Could you pivot? Do you have savings, skills, or connections to adapt? Once you map out your personal disaster protocol, you strip fear of its power. Start thinking in ranges, not absolutes. In 2025, the biggest winners won't be the most optimistic. They'll be the most prepared. Play defense now, so you can play offense when it counts most. From habits to power moves, what we just learned, let's rewind for a moment. We just unpacked 7 rich people habits that are quietly making them unstoppable in 2025. They're not following the crowd. They're tracking opportunity instead of expenses, stacking smarter assets instead of hoarding cash, and buying back time like it's the most precious currency on earth. They place asymmetric bets, audit their circle with intention, think in systems instead of goals, and rehearse disaster so they can dominate through it. This isn't just a checklist. It's a mindset shift. It's not just for the ultra-rich now. Here's the part most people miss. You don't need a trust fund or private equity portfolio to start applying these habits. These aren't reserved for the elite. They're behaviors, systems, routines. You can build them. You can run them. You can scale them. Wealth in 2025 won't come from hustle alone. It's going to come from leverage, and leverage comes from habits that compound, protect, and amplify your time, your energy, and your money. Take the first step plus subscribe if you made it this far. You already think differently. So here's your move. Pick 1 to 7 habits and implement it this week. Not someday now. Start with tracking an opportunity, building a microsystem, or cutting a low-value relationship. Whatever it is, take one step, because once you do, the rest gets easier. And if you want more high-leverage habits, smarter money strategies, and recession-proof wealth plays, hit that subscribe button, like the video, and turn on notifications. Your next breakthrough might be one video away, and it starts with building the right habits today.